Ever since Lane Kiffin was hired to be the next head coach at Ole Miss, the Rebels program has started to trend up. They had a breakout 2021 season led by Matt Corral at quarterback, and last year we saw the emergence of young quarterback Jackson Dart. Despite a strong start to the season, the Rebels ended up falling off by the end of the 2022 season, and 2023 was expected to be a bounce-back year with the return of Dart and superstar sophomore running back Quinshon Judkins. Except, the Ole Miss quarterback situation is now getting really weird. A couple of days ago, a big-time 5-star LSU quarterback entered the portal, and he recently announced he'll be headed to Ole Miss. That was a very interesting addition, as he was only going to be a year below Dart, but it at least made sense for depth purposes. But today, Thursday, January 19th, we got a shocker. A former big-time Oklahoma State quarterback who's been in college football for a while now also announced that he's going to go to Ole Miss, and this makes the quarterback room very interesting, and honestly, it makes the whole situation very tricky. In today's video, we're going to discuss Ole Miss's quarterback room for 2023. I'm going to give my thoughts on both transfers, my thoughts on Dart, and ultimately, we're going to try to decide who should be Ole Miss's quarterback for next year. But before we get started, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, let me know what player, topic, team, or situation I can cover next, and leave a comment down below. Now, let's talk about Ole Miss's quarterback room. The last decade of Ole Miss quarterbacking has been very interesting. At first, you had Bo Wallace in the mid-2010s, who led them to some big seasons and marquee victories. After that, you had the infamous Chad Kelly, who was a superstar but also pretty crazy. And after that, you had a one-year rental in Jordan Ta'amu, and then you had a Matt Corral / John Rice Plumlee era. Eventually, Corral would end up winning that job and went on to become a superstar in 2021, where he'd eventually get drafted. After that, they'd have to move on to the next era. The next guy was supposed to be Luke Altmyer, but then Lane Kiffin brought in transfer quarterback Jackson Dart. He was a top 100 4-star quarterback from the state of Utah who went to USC and shined once Keaton Slovis got hurt. With Lincoln Riley coming in and bringing Caleb Williams, we then saw Dart enter the portal, and he quickly settled on Ole Miss, bringing Michael Trigg along with him. After that, they added a couple of weapons in the portal, including future NFL draft pick Zach Evans, and Ole Miss was poised for a dangerous 2022 season. Dart and Altmyer went back and forth at the beginning of the season, with Dart eventually getting named the starting job, and he went on to shine and had some moments of brilliance. Last year in particular, Dart had a couple of big games. For example, he led them to a victory over number 7 Kentucky in Week 5, and then in Week 6, he threw for nearly 500 yards with 3 touchdowns and a win over Vanderbilt. After that, he had 3 touchdowns against Auburn, and a couple weeks later, had 3 touchdowns and a close victory over Texas A&M. There were some games where he wasn't as strong though, including road games against Arkansas, a home victory against Georgia Tech, and a road victory against LSU. Ultimately, Dart finished with nearly 3,000 passing yards with 20 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. At times, he looked brilliant, and at other times, he didn't look very experienced. Either way, though, it didn't really matter much in my eyes because that was his first year starting, and he was only going to get better in Lane Kiffin's system. This is where things get really interesting, though. It looked like Dart was going to be the 2023 guy, but all of a sudden they brought in Walker Howard. Howard was not going to be a replacement for Dart. In my opinion, it was going to be Dart as the starter and Howard as the backup, but then with the addition of Spencer Sanders, things now get really tricky. Ole Miss lost Luke Altmyer to the portal, and he transferred over to Illinois. And for a while, it looked like they were to get Purdue transfer Brady Allen, but he decided to stay back at Purdue, and they got Howard. Sanders is a very interesting case because he is now in his last year of eligibility, and he has started the last 4 years at Oklahoma State. For a guy like Sanders, there's 2 options here. Either he has a good chance at winning the starting job at Ole Miss, or no other school wanted him. I find that second theory hard to believe, as I'm sure there are plenty of low Power 5 or Group of 5 schools who would have taken someone as experienced as Sanders. I'm going to lean on the first option. There's a chance here that Lane Kiffin wants Sanders to be the starter, and he does not trust Jackson Dart to be the guy. If you're an Ole Miss fan, quickly go down below and let me know your thoughts on these 3 quarterbacks. Howard seemingly is the guy for the future after Dart / Sanders, but them bringing in Spencer today, it's just really shocking to me, and I personally don't get it. Before we end the video, I want to give you 2 comments by scouts on the Walker Howard transfer. The first one said, quote, "With the commitment of Walker Howard, that's 2 years in a row that Ole Miss has gotten a blue chip quarterback in the portal. Talent like that does not grow on trees, and the portal has changed the game. Right now, I want to give credit to Lane Kiffin for bringing in back-to-back big-time quarterbacks, and he's definitely improved Ole Miss's quarterback situation since he got there. The other comment I want to talk about is in regards to next year's starting quarterback. The scout said, quote, "Howard is going to get playing time, but more importantly, he is going to Ole Miss for the development from Lane Kiffin. He's going to arguably the best quarterback coach in the country. There's a very good chance that he can start, and they were obviously not going to bring him in if they trusted Dart to get it done as a passer. Right now, it seems there is going to be a true quarterback battle in Oxford, and this is something we're going to have to watch all offseason. If this is in fact true, then Sanders is 100% coming in as the front runner to start. I don't necessarily agree with that because I don't see the upside in playing Sanders for 1 year when you arguably have 2 5-stars with eligibility on the bench, but that's just me. Ultimately, Lane Kiffin will be the guy who decides this, and all 3 of them, I think, have valid reasons to become the starter there. Right now, I have no idea who is going to be the starter, but if I had to put my money on it, I'm going to go with the incumbent guy in Dart, who knows the system best, was the starter last year, and could have a chance to be the first guy to go, because it does also seem that Lane is a loyal guy. Either way, we have no idea though, and if you're an Ole Miss fan, give me your thoughts on this situation, your expectations for next season, and what you like about each quarterback. Before you go, don't forget to also leave a like, let me know what player, team, topic, or situation I could cover next, subscribe if you're new, and check out all of the videos on the end screen, including my video about the rise of Quinshon Judkins. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.